So, what is really going on with the massive tech layoffs of 2025? Is AI to blame, or is it just a convenient excuse for something else, something bigger? Let's dig in and break down the two competing stories behind what's happening to the modern workforce. Over 180,000. Just let that number sink in. That's how many people in the tech industry have lost their jobs so far this year. I mean, that's like the entire population of a decent-sized city just gone. It works out to almost 500 people losing their jobs every single day. And we're not talking about small startups. We're talking about the giants, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Salesforce. They are all making huge cuts. Now, the official story you'll hear from these massive companies is pretty straightforward. AI is the future, right? So they're just restructuring to get ahead of the curve. But, when you start to really look at the data, a much, much more complicated picture starts to take shape. Okay, so first, let's unpack the story that big tech wants us to hear. This is story number one, the AI revolution. The idea here is that artificial intelligence is totally reshaping everything, making some jobs obsolete and building a leaner, meaner future. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy really laid it all out there with this quote. He's basically framing this whole thing as a natural step forward, an evolution. The message couldn't be clearer. As our AI gets smarter, well, we just don't need as many humans on the payroll. And trust me, Amazon is not alone here. This is a pattern we are seeing all across Silicon Valley. Thousands and thousands of jobs are being wiped out. And here's the kicker. At the exact same time, these companies are pouring billions of dollars into AI development. It's a huge shift of resources, moving away from people and directly into machines. And this isn't just about automating simple, boring tasks anymore. No way. We are now seeing AI step into really high-skilled jobs. I mean, get this. Microsoft's own CEO, Satya Nadella, says AI is already writing a huge chunk of their new code. That is a massive sign that AI's reach is growing fast. Okay, so what's the real number here? How many of these layoffs are actually because of AI? Well, according to one analysis, it's a little over a quarter. Now, don't get me wrong, 27% is a huge number. But it also means that almost 3/4 of these layoffs are being driven by something else entirely. And that right there brings us to story number two, which is, let's just say, a bit more cynical. You've got industry insiders, and they've got the data to back it up, who are arguing that AI is just the perfect excuse, a scapegoat, for some old-school corporate moves that are, frankly, a lot harder to sell to the public. Listen to this from the CEO of Perplexity AI. He's basically saying, look, these companies went on an insane hiring binge during the pandemic. They got bloated, and now they're using AI as the perfect cover story to right-size the ship without having to admit they made a massive strategic mistake. Let's take Salesforce as a perfect case study. When they laid off 4,000 people, their big announcement was all about how they were becoming an AI-first company. The story they sold was simple. AI made these jobs redundant. But this is where the plot thickens. In the 3 years just before those layoffs, Salesforce applied for almost 3,700 H-1B visas. Those are visas to bring foreign tech workers into the U.S. So you have 4,000 people laid off and 3,700 visas applied for. Those numbers are almost identical. So were those jobs really eliminated by AI, or were they just replaced? And guess what? Amazon's story looks shockingly similar. They cut over 14,000 corporate jobs this year. At the same time, they got approvals for over 12,000 H-1B visas. It just begs the question, if AI is replacing all these roles, why are you fighting so hard to bring in more human workers from other countries? So what's really going on here? Well, follow the money. There's a powerful financial incentive. There's this provision in the U.S. tax code, it's called GILTI, and it essentially gives corporations a massive tax cut on profits they make overseas. This creates a direct financial reward for moving jobs and entire operations abroad. It's a motivation that has absolutely nothing to do with AI and everything to do with the bottom line. And there's another powerful driver at play here, and this one is all about Wall Street. It's almost a guaranteed playbook. When a big company announces mass layoffs, investors see it as a decisive move to cut costs. This often causes the stock price to jump. And who benefits most from a rising stock price? The executives, whose pay is often tied directly to it. It's a big win for leadership, but a devastating loss for employees. Okay, so we've talked about all these numbers, these corporate strategies, these stock prices, But we have to remember that behind every single one of these data points, there are real people, real families facing sudden, life-changing uncertainty. Just listen to this from an employee who got caught up in the Amazon layoffs. They literally moved their entire life across the country for a job that vanished just 6 months later. This is the real human story behind the headlines. And the impact is just brutal for people who are just starting out. I mean, look at this. The unemployment rate for new computer engineering grads has more than tripled in a single year. It's like the ladder to a great career is being yanked away just as they were about to take their first step. So with all of these things happening at once, AI automation, offshoring, companies just correcting their past mistakes, what does the future of work even look like? Where are the actual opportunities going to be? Well, according to the World Economic Forum, we are in the middle of a massive shift in the skills that matter. A mind-blowing 95% of new jobs in the AI field are expected to require a master's degree or a doctorate. The price of admission to these top-tier tech jobs is getting way, way higher. But it's not all bad news. There is huge growth in fields that are much, much harder to automate. Think about things like healthcare, education, and the skilled trades, like the electricians we desperately need to build all these new AI data centers. Basically, any job that requires a real, hands-on, human touch is becoming more valuable. So at the end of the day, whether you blame AI, offshoring, or a simple market correction, the one thing that is absolutely certain is that the world of work is changing faster than ever before. And that leaves all of us with a really important question. Are we adapting? Are we building the right skills for this new reality?